What's up, everybody? Coach Ceelo here, and welcome to podcast number 26. This is the last of the WooWoo mini-series. Man, I've had fun with this one. I hope you guys have as too. We've talked about so many things. You know, we've talked about the power of belief, about being in the zone, about what happens when you're out of the zone, about attracting what you are, identity, be, do, have, the dark side of sales, evil eye, haters, charms, trinkets, lucky coins, lucky ties, lucky suits. What the hell else is left to talk about the woo-woo? Well, how about we put it all together and we start thinking of a way of creating a rock-solid attitude around spirituality, energy, and a positive mindset so that you are at your best every single day. And in those days when you aren't your best, you have a way of giving yourself a little shake up to go out there and make some money, right? So what's the wrap up on all of this? Let's do the wrap up. The wrap up is power of belief is everything. What you believe and how strong you believe it is actually, I would argue, even more important than what you believe. In other words, I'm not talking about religious beliefs here. I'm talking about in terms of why things happen to you and your outlook on how things are going to go, right? So if you believe that God blesses you every day when you go out to work and help you put food on the table, then that belief and how strongly you believe it is the most important thing. Because when you arrive at work, you feel blessed already. You are starting from a point of gratitude, and I would dare to say power and strength. Now, if you believe that energetically your vibe is the most important thing, it is. And it actually is. Your vibe is very important. How you vibrate at whatever energy level you vibrate at is what you're going to attract. And so if you're not at your highest vibrational self, you're not going to attract that high vibrational customer. And from that psychological standpoint, if you're not at, and by the way, I just remembered something. I'm going to give you guys a little nugget in. But anyway, if you're not at that high mindset with a smile, with the energy, with everything that you need, guess what? Even if you got somebody that was okay, if your energy's low, their energy's going to get low too. So all of this comes together, right? Now, I told you kind of in I don't remember how many podcasts ago, but it was in the WooWoo series, what to do when you're faced with negativity, when you're faced with evil eye or with haters. There's a lot of ways of being able to deal with that, whether it's just having a very strong mindset and considering yourself impenetrable to all that stuff. Right? But guess what? If you're feeling bad, your bubble was burst already. I was going to say you've been penetrated, but that sounds kind of bad. But anyway, so what I mean is if you're already feeling bad and you can tell you're feeling bad, then you're not impenetrable, right? So you've got to have something in your routine or a variation of the routine that can now break that. And if you just want to go psychologically, something you can do real quick, I've talked about it before. If you're a man, you do the Superman. If you're a woman, you do the Wonder Woman. You get in front of the mirror, put your hands on your waist, stand straight, chin up, deep breath. Look at yourself in the mirror. Remind yourself of all the great things you've done. I promise you, you hold that pose for more than 2 minutes. Rock solid. Actually, you do it more than 17 seconds and you're going to start feeling some, physiological changes in your body. But you hold that for about 2 minutes, you'll be rock solid. That's psychological. That's an easy one, right? Now, if you want to go energetically, well, remember the talk about energy bubbles and the talk about what's the word I'm looking for? I'll remember it as I'm going along. I can't believe I forgot that word. Anyway, the bottom line is vibrationally having that bubble around you of really good energy. If that's been broken, then you've got to do something to dispel that from you. And whether that is prayer or meditation or getting under some cold running water or a bath with flowers or some type of cologne or splash or cleaning yourself with some fruits and throwing that away, whatever it takes. And you can tell, you can test it out, guys. You can tell whichever one is going to give you that effect, because just like that effect of the Superman or the Wonder Woman, whenever you do any of those things, you will feel the difference in your body. And that will make a big difference, right? Those are quick fixes for those kind of issues. But now let's talk about more long-term things that you can do and how to set them up, right? So the first one, the first level of defense, and it's not, I wouldn't call it defense actually, I'd call it offense, but is affirmations. Affirmations are probably the easiest and most effective tool to have you rock solid. Now, the problem with affirmations is that people sometimes don't feel authentic when they're doing them. Meaning, if you're telling yourself, I am the greatest salesperson in the office, or, I am a successful person, or, whatever it is. By the way, when you're doing an affirmation, that's exactly what I want you to start off with is I am, and whatever it is that you want to be. Because it's bringing it into the present and it's about right now. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter whether you're rejecting it or not. The beautiful thing about affirmations is that the more you do them and the longer that you do them, eventually your subconscious will accept it as true. You just have to do it long enough. It's almost like you're beating your subconscious into a pulp, right? No matter what your body is rejecting, you do it long enough and it'll accept it. And I'll prove it to you. Have you ever looked at your wife, husband, friend, relative and said, I cannot stand that frickin' song on the radio. It's the most frickin' annoying thing I've ever heard. They play it every 5 minutes. It drives me crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you're taking a shower and you start humming that frickin' song you said you hated so much. It's because it made its way into your mind. It's already embedded into your subconscious. Now, I've said it before, society is designed to do that all the time. Billboard ads, radio ads, everything is designed. You go into a supermarket, there's certain things that are designed to be at your eye level. You go to a movie and they flash things sometimes really quickly. Since birth until death, you are being brainwashed 96% of the times. You're not even aware of it. So if you're going to be brainwashed anyway, you might as well choose the things that you brainwash yourself with. And that's exactly what affirmations are. It's your own brainwashing. So find what are the things that you want to achieve in life. And this is not just success in business and sales, even though that's what this podcast is about. I mean, everything that you'd like to see happen in your life. And you repeat it to yourself over and over and over and over again. Now, let's take that another level. The best way to do it is first you handwrite it. Actually, I'd handwrite it a whole bunch of times, but that's just me, right? Because that'll really lock it in. But after that, make sure you put it on a little 3x5 card and carry that 3x5 card on you always. And what you do is when you wake up in the morning, I mean, first wake up, that's the first thing you're going to read. Then after lunch, right before you get that little, kind of buzz that you get after eating, boom, you do it again. And then the last time, right before going to sleep. Guys, there's science to this, and I'm sure many of you already know this, but that time where you're in between falling asleep and waking up is the closest thing that you will ever be to your subconscious mind. It's the best time to deliver any information that you want, like right through the back door. So that's when you want to do. You want to do that right when you wake up, right before you go to sleep, and if you want to do the extra bonus one, right after lunch. You do that, your affirmations are going to be rock solid. You want to go deeper? Check out binaural beats on YouTube and find binaural beats that entrain your brain. Look it up. Brain entrainment. It makes the left side and the right side of your brain sink into one. When it does that, you are vibrating at a super high level and your subconscious is working really, really well. So while you're doing that, you could either repeat these affirmations to yourself, or you do a track of you saying this. Listen, this is really deep stuff I'm showing you here. You get your affirmations and you say them in your own voice. See, if you hear other people telling you something, your brain may reject it, but when it hears it's your own voice saying it, that's you. It lets it right in. So you record yourself doing these things, and then you put that behind or on a track of the binaural beats, and you listen to that when you wake up in the morning and before you go to sleep. And trust me that you're going to be rock solid. So anyway, that was affirmations. Now we're going to take it a step further. Visualizations. So now it's not just you repeating something over and over and over and over again, but it's you taking those things that you're repeating and imagining a scenario around it. So if you're saying, I am successful, now you're bringing to yourself images of you being successful. Maybe it's getting an award. Maybe it's looking at your bank account and seeing how many zeros are, with commas, of course, 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it is. Maybe it's that. If it's about you being healthy, maybe it's you, shaking your doctor's hand with a big smile on it. If it's you with your wife or your husband or your lover or whatever, it's being surrounded by the people you love. Whatever it is, you are creating a story around that while you are hearing those things. Now, you could do it separately. You could just do the visualization. I'm just teaching you how to mount one thing, stack one on top of the other, which makes it super, super powerful. Now, if you want to make this a little bit spiritual and energetic, while you're doing that, increase your state. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you want to be successful and now you picture yourself being successful, how do you feel when you would be successful? How would you feel when you saw those zeros in your bank account? How would you feel when you got that trophy? And let that energy you feel that inside and come up, because those high peak states are they make grooves, energetic grooves that stick with you. Guys, the opposite of that is trauma. Does trauma exist? So if trauma exists and something negative can make grooves into your psyche that can mess with you, could you not also, if one thing is possible, can't the opposite of that be possible too? It's 100% possible. So you can do these visualizations like that. And then now let's get into my favorite part of woo-woo, which is manifestation. Now, the great thing about manifestation is I'm teaching you how to do it just by the affirmations and the visualizations, right? what'll help you manifest. And by the way, this doesn't mean that you're going to go out and win the lotto tomorrow. Because if not, I'd already be a millionaire. And if you guys haven't figured it out yet, I'm not a millionaire yet. I am, however, a six-figure earner that can teach you guys how to make six figures. And by the time that you guys are earning six figures, I probably will be one. And then I can teach you how to do that, right? But anyway, the bottom line is, if you're doing these affirmations and visualizations, you do them as if it's right now. You are grateful for what's happening right now. And you're picturing you being that person right now. Remember when I talked about identity? Everything's coming together now. You see yourself as a person you want to be, and you bring that to now. You put yourself in that body. Now you feel that energy of being that successful person that you are, of being that top performer that you are, of being whatever it is that you are. And now you are attracting that, which is causing the universe, God, because that's also a form of prayer, guys. If you want to go that route, you can, while you're praying and you're asking God for the things that you're asking him, visualize those things and then visualize them happening already. You already received it. It even says it in the Bible for those of you that read the Bible, which I would assume is the majority of you, right? Not everyone, but probably the majority of you. It says to assume things as they already are, and then they will be. So I know I totally assassinated that, but you guys know what I'm saying. So that's actually how you manifest, is by already assuming these things to be. You know, Neville Goddard used to call it SATS, S-A-T-S. State akin to sleep, right? So he would tell you to do these things, your manifestations, when you are closest to sleeping. And then the next level to that is that as you are seeing yourself already as that person, just to add that other level of ninja-ness to it, imagine your friends, or like if you were eavesdropping and your friends and family, you're eavesdropping on your friends and family talking about how successful you are. Oh my God, can you see what he or she did? I'm so proud of them. Look what they did, or whatever. And you're like eavesdropping on that conversation. Because your mind doesn't, if you feel something strong enough and you set that frame strong enough, your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what isn't. And it's automatically going to assume that. So if you put all of that together, start with small stuff. Don't start with big stuff. Same as the emotional lines that I was talking about Bob Proctor a few episodes ago. If you're all the way at despondent or depression, you don't want to shoot for elated. You want to go kind of halfway to melancholy, because once you're at melancholy, then you can go up. It's the same thing. Start with easy stuff that you can manifest. You know, maybe you want a special parking spot when you go to work, or maybe a bonus that you're trying to hit. Something small, and then once you get good at that, and sometimes you won't get it, and that's okay. You're getting good at this. And then you keep leveling up. Now, here's a good psychological hack for all of you guys. As you're doing all this work, this is a lot of stuff. I don't expect all of you to do all of this, all right? But I'm teaching you how to really make this happen. When you get to that visualization part, heading towards manifestation, and you're actually picturing things, what I want you to do is have one word that you link to all of that. So, for example, if you're thinking about success at work and you see yourself getting the trophy, and you're looking at your phone and you see your bank account and you see how many zeros are there in front of the numbers, and you feel, remember how I told you, you feel that energy at that moment. I want you to link it to one word. It could be success. It could be six figures. It could, whatever it is, that one word. And what you're going to do whenever you're not feeling that vibe, let's say you're about to go on a presentation and you're kind of a little bit whatever, you weren't in your vibe, you didn't have a chance to do your affirmations, or you didn't have a chance to do the Superman or the Wonder Woman or whatever. All you do is close your eyes for a couple seconds and you tell yourself success, success. And you remember what that brings. And all of a sudden, you're in. And I would do that with 2 or 3 different words because it's 2 or 3 different things or different states that you can bring into your body. Lastly, let's talk about now how all of this can affect you if you don't believe in any of this. Oh, that's all hocus pocus. I don't believe in energy. I don't believe in anything. All right. Wherever attention goes, energy flows. Psychologically, it's called the RAS. Look it up. The Reticular Activating System. Have you ever looked at buying a car and before the day you decided that you wanted to buy that car, I'm going to randomly pick, let's say you wanted a Dodge Challenger. It's the car I used to have before the one I have now. You hadn't thought of a Dodge Challenger before. All of a sudden, you got the idea of having a Dodge Challenger. For the next week, all of a sudden, everywhere that you look, you find a Dodge Challenger. Now, the question is, were those Dodge Challengers there before? Yes. They were always there. Your brain just wasn't recognizing them. Because your brain is designed to delete, distort, or disregard anything that is not standing out. And by standing out, your brain is always trying to figure out whether something wants to kill you, whether you can eat it, or whether you can mate with it. And if any one of those 3 aren't present, it deletes, disregards, or distorts. If there's something that you think you know, it will automatically, that's how you get people's attention. We've talked about that in other podcasts. But anyway, the bottom line is that the reticular activating system means that now that something is in your sphere of attention, your brain is purposely pointing it out every time you're looking for it. And if you're trying to be successful and you have all of these things that you're putting together, seeing yourself be successful, knowing that you're closing deals, picturing yourself handshaking somebody after you've closed a deal, or picturing yourself doing the paperwork with the numbers on there, all of that stuff, guess what? Your brain is looking for more of it. Every time it looks for more of it, it reinforces what you were doing, and now you've got that positive cycle going. Guys, my name is Coach Ceelo, and I have helped thousands of salespeople reach, attain, maintain 6 figures. You keep listening to me, you'll be the next. See ya. Last of the WooWoo series.